Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to episode 73, season 7 of the Iron Meditation, the Art of Living and Lifting podcast. I'm your host, Coach Michael. And before you skip, just know that you can listen to it on Spotify, or if you prefer to watch my face, please indulge in my 10-minute small vlogs. Let's talk about why people can't progress in their programs, why people who follow pros and who follow pros programming and hire their coaching sometimes misfire. And I had a couple of my own students who came for me for Girevoy sport journey, told me that they was previously trained by this and that coach, and the coaches were serious, right? So like the serious people, serious lifters, and they just couldn't handle it. Some of them, like one was fatigued, overtrained, second got developed a higher blood pressure within his eyes. I don't know the exact term in English, but it was pretty nasty situation. And they were hearing from the coaches about like you need to get used to fatigue and stuff like this. And at first, like all of us, your response is like, well, this coach is this and this coach is that, and like the proper coaching is done and like blah blah. You begin to promote yourself. But I recently watched a Netflix movie, great movie, something that I highly recommend for you too. It's a one series, one time thing, and it's called Untold: The Hall of Shame, and it talks about the Blanco scandal. And Blanco was a pharmaceutical company ran by Victor Conti, and the guy who basically invented performance drugs, etc. And it had to do with Olympic medalists, Olympic sprinters like Tim Montgomery and Marion Jones. Yeah, I'm reading from the internet because I don't pretend that I can recall and know everything. And like while I was watching the movie, it suddenly got me. Like I understood what's going on. So it's not about the coaches being bad in that sense. I've heard I watched Charlie Francis is featured there, and Charlie Francis is one of the best track and field Canadian coaches of his time. Like he invented vertical periodization. Like the man is genius, is like kind of Vince Lombardi of football. And he told like, if you really want to play the game on the highest level, if you want to be a god, you will do everything. Like it's not even a question, and you can't even reach like the feet, the dust of the gods if you're clean. Like it doesn't work this way. Now, everybody who have tried or know the game of iron, semi-professional powerlifting, bodybuilding is basically everything is open on the table, knows that you cannot even compete on a decent level if you're clean. So like the numbers are so, funny that like you won't even bother. And the thing is that I'm not like, it's not about arguing what is right and what is wrong. None of us have the right to judge or to have an opinion unless we are the Olympic athletes who took gold. All right. And like those people are the only ones who have the right to say, you know what, this is wrong or this is right, or I'll do whatever it takes to be there. Like I wasted 10, 20 years of my life, and I'm not going to waste everything because some dude, take some pill or shoot some syringe and I'm playing ethical. Well, fuck that shit because the game is unfair. But I am digressing, all right? Back to our lifting and living. Now, what you need to understand, especially if you are an amateur in a serious way, a dedicated lifter, you train in your garage, in your living room, sometimes I do, and you just want to have fun with kettlebells or whatever, and you want to compete for the event's sake, for having something in the horizon that pulls you into training, please understand this. Coaches who are used to dealing with pro athletes who take substances, they sometimes can't think, they are biased, and they see regular folks like these pro athletes who take stuff. So when I went to my Girevoy sport camp in 2014 to St. Petersburg, and I've met all the people who created, basically almost everybody who have created kettlebell sport, I was given pretty openly, right, a list of stuff that help athletes to recover and to great results. There was nothing like, super heavy or forbidden. It was a plain medication for heart disease people to lower the heart rate, the blood pressure, to open the blood vessels, and some steroids for the lower back pain. So you can recover and do more volume. Now, what you need to understand that people who play this game, the recoverability are Wolverines like. Okay, their sustainability and tolerance to volume and intensity does not even match what you can handle. So basically, they can handle what you can handle within a week. They can handle almost within a single session. And since they recover, and it's my cat here if you hear her, now since you recover well, guess where your numbers will be. All right? And guess, like, if I'm using the same approach, okay, if I'm biased, guess what your numbers, like, what your physiological state will soon be. You'll be broken, okay, and you will be devastated. Now, it's sometimes, we all sin, as sinners. Like, sometimes I'm catching myself being biased with my psychological state. So when my students come and say, like, coach, I had a bad week and I couldn't handle, like, my inner state is like, I'm like suddenly growing hair that stands, and like, I'm all about like, what the fuck, man? Like, you bitch, you want to tell me about my life and what I'm going through, and you tell me, oh, I'm sorry, I cannot handle. And then I remind myself that I am me, and I am not him or her. I don't walk in their shoes. I don't live in their skin. So I'd be better off shutting my mouth, opening my heart, not even my ears, and listening to what my athlete, who I accepted the responsibility for, is trying to communicate. This is the word, communicate with me and serve him or her. All right? And this is the most crucial and most important point to understand, that often, like, if like, I used to read T-Nation, and now I understand that most of the programs that I failed to complete, wasn't bad programs. It was programs that were written for guys who take stuff. Okay, as minor as they may be, I am not those type of guys. And instead of being frustrated and thinking that I'm a pussy, wimp, deconditioned imposter, now I understand that it has nothing to do with me. It was just a mismatch of expectations and the different game that we played.